You have to be going somewhere to get somewhere. We need a vision. This is basic knowledge. If you are in a position that you're stuck and you're on defense in life and everything seems to be coming against you and your brain is just unorganized and in chaos, the answer to this is you need a vision, right? You need a place that you are going. So if you don't have a vision for your life, what are you trying to build? What are you trying to produce? What are you trying to do? Then we are not operating in the purpose of why we were created. So we're going to talk about vision. Let's get it. All right. So the goal of this particular session is to get every one of us uh, to identify and have a passion to write a vision for your life and to know how to write it. And so let's define what a vision is. A vision is basically a desired or preferred future. And sometimes we have to figure out how to quantify when we want to make that happen. And I'm going to show you how, or the components that are necessary for you to write your vision for your life. So let's jump right in. You have the ability to think about what your future wants to be. You can imagine with your mind, take something that you wish you can have, that you have a desire for, and if you could see it in your head, it's automatically created at that particular moment. You call that intellectual property. It is intangible, it's spiritual, but it's something that you can see. It is already produced. And the assignment, when you can see it, you can just take that particular image and get it embedded into your mind or your programming, meditate on it, and eventually move it down to your behavioral habits to where you form it with your hands. That is the process of creation. Dr. Myron Golden always says this: we were created to create stuff and made to make stuff. Creating it why? Visually, in our imagination, and then using the hands to form it. In our life, and that's going to get us out of the process that we in. So the fight that's in our head right now of us really being upset with ourselves or us not knowing what's the next step, that fight is because who you've seen in the future that you thought, but maybe haven't put as much emphasis on because you thought it was impossible. Those goals that you have, those things that you admire, those fragments of what you think you want to have in life, your current behavior and your current vision of your fears and your failures and your past and negative self-perception is the vision that's more dominant. That's the one that's more programmed. And so if we don't have a vision of where we're going, we have a vision of where we don't want to go. But either way, it's a destination that we will go towards if we're not clear of how we work as mechanisms. So when you can't see clearly what you want in life, you automatically have you're defensive. And when you're defensive, you're trying to avoid losses or avoid mistakes. And so you put up with a lot of stuff. And as you put up with these things, you get to assess who you are and you want to move from that particular moment. So the example that I like to give is when a car is driving, right? Let's imagine you driving up the street and then it just starts downpouring in rain. So much that the whole window is clogged, that you can't see anything. What's the first thing you do? You slow down. You slow down. Why? Because you can't see where you're going. You slow down because we can't see where we're going. And that's defense. We're scared. It's like, so life at that particular moment happens to us. It's happening to us. We're not involved in going anywhere. But the moment that we get clarity and we can see the road ahead, what do? We speed up, right? And so the spiritual principle that's making this just not my thing, right? As we all endeavor to become better, is found in Habakkuk 2:2, where it simply says, here, I got a visual for you. It says, our assignment, this is a command. It says to write. That's something that you have to do, the vision. That thing that's in your head, that thing that you imagine that you want to be or become. It says, write that. And then it says to make it plain on tables. What that simply means is make it visual, make it to the point that you can see it at a glance, right? So you can be reminded of it simply. What is it that I want? And then it says, so that the one who reads it will run. Now, there's a couple of things in that bottom part. The one who reads it, one, that's me. I'm gonna know what it is I want. I'm gonna know what it is that I want to produce in life. And I am also going to get other people and make it possible for them to see. And if they read it, they will also join me and they will run. But that last part is that run. Anytime any of us have ever ran, we are either going towards something or going away from something. And this is the point of a vision. When you are running, there is energy. So a vision equals the energy. If whatever you see in your mind equals the energy you will have. So if you see doubt and if you see dread, if you see discomfort, that's the energy you get and you will run from it. So you need a vision of a preferred future to save your life because it gives you the energy to create in your life. That's the true fulfillment of who we are. All right. So that's my intro to this whole thing. And so we need a focus. Our focus will displace our current fears and our current dread. So Howard, 3 parts to a vision, right? So the first part of a vision is we have to figure out what problem that we're going to solve, right? What problem do you plan to solve? What am I going to do? For me in my life, I am galvanizing coaches. I am galvanizing opportunities to communicate to people and to cause them to become better than themselves, partnering businesses and partnering with individuals who are trying to become more and giving them the impetus to go ahead and move, the mental clarity by giving them systems, tools, and processes. And I'm going to have 100 coaches. I'm going to have 100 courses. I'm going to have software. And so that's a vision of a preferred future. That's a destination. That's how big I want it to be, right? So that's what's happening in the making. So that vision of a preferred future, that's how big. And then you're going to say how by when. So that's to quantify it. So you got to get the numbers, see what you want and quantify it by numbers. Your vision, you take that, what you see and quantify it by numbers. So not just nearly what you want to have as a consequence, the stuff you're going to buy, that's cool too, because you can draw that, but see what problem you want to solve, what pain you want to relieve, or what pleasure you want to bring to other people. Our call ultimately is the other people. So if you can imagine something that you would be excited about producing or excited that it was fulfilled or done, and you can see it done in your mind, you can create it and then quantify how big you want to participate and make it over the next decade. So we're thinking about what is it if I put all my time, energy, effort, and attention in for the next decade, 10 years of my life, what will it look like? That's how big you're able to envision, and that's how big you ever to dream. And whatever you see, you can create. Number 2 is strategy. So strategy is how I'm going to wrap. How am I? What mechanisms or what resources am I going to gather to produce this thing? You know, the difference between us and other things that God created, we can take and make tools and leverage them and resources to help us to produce what we're trying to build. Just like God places trees here for us to build tables. There's had to be a strategy that you have in place of the resources that you're going to collect to actually to use to build the vision of our preferred future. So are you going to wrap it in the form of a business, right? Are you going to work with inside of a company? Are you going to get team members? What software do you need? What equipment do you need to buy? What logistics do you need? If you're creating a business, if you're going to build your talent, like, you know, what places are you going to go? What things are you going to do? So you're going to identify the resources that are necessary. That's the strategy of how to take the mission or take what it is I'm trying to do, what problem I'm trying to solve, and then I'm going to put it in this particular vehicle. And then these are the components of this vehicle that I'm going to need to put in place, the resources. And then that is the thing that's going to take me to my destination. So you have the vision, then we're going to have the strategy, and that's mental. And then now we're going to slide into the plan to execute it. So vision, strategy, plan. What is my action plan? What is my thing that I'm going to be doing? What do I plan to do in order to produce the thing that I see? Right. So that means I have to be willing to do something. There's most times when I coach clients, we have what I am statement. I am doing this, and I'm saying I am rich or I am wealthy, and I call those affirmations. But I don't believe they're enough. Or a way to experience this process is I am a this because I what daily. So now that's more of a confirmation. I am this because I do this. We have to include our bodies in the production to form it. Again, we got to form it with our hand, form it with our mouth, form it with our sight. We use this physical body as leveraging tools to form the thing that we're building, right? So I need a plan of action to use my body. So it's when you think of a plan of action, you got to ask yourself, of the strategy that's necessary, what am I doing daily and what am I doing basically hourly? What am I doing and how can I break that down to an hour? So a vision is only just a dream or only intellectual property until you take the strategy and ask yourself, how do I dump it down to build it in an hourly plan of action? It's taking each brick, identifying what that brick in the medium exchange of an hour. And every time I lay that brick, I build the thing that I'm becoming. This is all the process that we have to be aware of if we ever think that we're going to produce the dreams that we want. It's a different mentality. And if there is no focus with intent of a vision of preferred future, the strategy of how you're going to get there, and your daily plan of action, you are on defense. Life happens to us. But the only way that we have energy and we run, like Habakkuk 2 and 2 said, right? We have to simply write the vision of that preferred future. We got to make it plain enough that we could see it at a glance, so that whenever I read it or whenever my team members read it, we'll have the energy, the fortitude to go run and to go produce it in my life. All right. So this will save your life. If you need help with this, get a coach. A coach can help trigger you to move you in this direction. Get somebody to tap into you to help you bring this thing out of you. So a vision will save your life. We were made to create and we were formed to form stuff. So love you guys. See you on the next one.